You're watching the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown Preview Show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown Preview Show. For the next half hour, we will preview all the big games and tonight's SEFCU Friday Night Showdown Game of the Week. Joining us now live from our Game of the Week is Paul Wapple and Adam Anderson. The dynamic duo, they are back to guide us through another exciting Game of the Week and the third one of the season. And here it's Week 4. Guys, it's Q&D and it's SHG, a matchup that needs very little introduction. What are you guys thinking about? Opening thoughts when looking at this one?
Yeah, Quincy Notre Dame 3-0, Sacred Heart Griffin 2-1, lost to a tough, very talented CBC team. Both teams are very high, explosive offenses. Sacred Heart Griffin averaging 47 points a game.
Yeah, the Q&D defense giving up 6 points all year. Through 3 games, that's pretty nice to have defensively. There's a lot of gold helmets out here. The stands are starting to fill up. We're going to have a big game here tonight.
Yeah, the Cyclones offense, like I said, it's clicking. Drew Ward, Cam Brinkman, the quarterback, really coming, I think, of age. His experience is showing. He had a great game last week. Dual threat, Cam Brinkman.
Absolutely. Mikey Gresh in the backfield, too. I think he could be an X factor here tonight.
And Sacred Heart Griffin's defense, they're going to have their work cut out for themselves tonight against Quincy Notre Dame. Like Adam said, they've only given up 6 points on defense, but offensively averaging 51, 52 points a game. Pretty incredible for a high school football team.
Absolutely. It's unbelievable.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Let's kick it off as we always do with our hosts, a team that everyone in Central Illinois has come to know. Sacred Heart Griffin, the Springfield powerhouse, led by John Allison. Now, they're coming off a down season, but one that featured a big postseason win over Mahomet Seymour. SHG, they fell to Q&D big on the road last year, but SHG, they want revenge on home turf and to focus on the ground game.
Weeks 2 and 3, obviously it wasn't CBC, but we rushed for 650, 700 yards, something like that. So obviously getting back to our focus all offseason. So the question is now, can we do it against this opponent? And we'll find out.
Yeah, I feel like we're, a lot better physically than we were last year and a lot better leadership. There's a different feeling around the team this year than there was last year.
And definitely in the last game, our starting D only gave up 6 points, and I think that was pretty good. I think we just got to keep building on that.
Honestly, this is huge. This is probably the biggest game of the year so far, and we need to do it to go out and prove something.
Last year was definitely embarrassing. It definitely gives us motivation for this year, and I just want to really punch them in the mouth this year.
Our age showed a little bit last year, starting a lot of sophomores. I think that we were a little timid in that game, and, so the focus this week is to match toughness with toughness. We got to be a lot more aggressive than we were last year.
Yeah, I think this is our biggest game this year so far, and it would be a huge win. I think we will win. So, yeah, this is a big win for us.
We've circled this one on our calendar. We want this one. We want to win this one. We're at home. All the events are leading up to this game, and we just have to really go out there and prove that we're a better team than we were last year.
Now that's the home side, Sacred Heart Griffin. Guys, we know what the Cyclones are and have historically been, but last season it was not pretty down in Quincy. Does this year's version of the Cyclones have enough to take down Q&D?
Yeah, I think the Cyclones are definitely better than they were a year ago. Yeah, they lost pretty badly last year to Quincy Notre Dame. Yeah. I don't think Quincy Notre Dame is as good as they were last year, so I think that's why it'll be a really good matchup.
Cam Brinkman didn't play quarterback in this game last year. He really didn't start playing quarterback till about a week or two later, full time, when we did Friday Night Showdown against Jacksonville. So I think he has been an X factor this season. He's their leading rusher, but I do think Mikey Gresh needs a big game tonight if the Cyclones are going to come out with a victory.
Yeah, Cyclones definitely are better than last year. They've had some injuries this year, too. Some of their players are back, and that certainly will help them tonight.
Yeah, anytime you can get healthy, it's going to pay off in great dividends. So I think Coach Allison's happy that they're a little bit more healthy. They're hitting the pads out here behind us. It's pretty loud, so I think they're getting excited.
Should be a good game. All right, Sammy, back to you.
Now we switch gears to our visitors. It's Quincy Notre Dame, the Raiders, and they're the reigning conference champions and did so in their first season in the conference. And they started even stronger this year, outscoring opponents by 149 points through 3 weeks. But tonight the challenge is real as they're at Ken Leonard Field.
We're all really confident. I mean, we've obviously put up some big numbers. We haven't allowed much on defense, so we're very confident going into this game.
It's been really good to see the balance that we're able to have on offense. I mean, John's able to give the ball to, a bunch of different playmakers on the outside. He's able to hand the ball off to 3 really talented running backs and guys that just continue to give defenses fits.
it's all-out effort every single play, and we trust each other. We trust our line to get good pressure and our linebackers to get good pressure, and DBs just make the plays.
It's been great watching those guys fly around. I mean, really just the way that they play team defense, everybody running the football. It's not just one guy making the tackle, but it's going to be all 11 guys.
If what happened last year, they're going to be ready for us. They're going to give us our best shot, but we got to be ready for that. Yeah, we're proud that we won it last year, and we're looking forward to defending it because obviously now that doesn't matter at all. Last year's in the past.
We lost all these guys that were so-called, oh, they're going to be a drop-off, and these are all our D1 guys leaving, and we're going to be a drop-off next year. So we're just trying to go out there and show that it's not a drop-off. We are the same team, whether those guys are on it or not.
I think anytime you can get wins in this league, it's a big deal, right? And I think that we obviously got a bullseye on our back. These guys are going to come and give us their best shot. So we know that, we got to handle what we do. And so we just got to be the best that we can be when we show up on Friday night.
There you have it, the road team. And guys, it doesn't happen often, but I'd say on paper, the underdog tonight is SHG. QND is dangerous, conference champion in their first season, and with how they've started on both sides of the ball, they very well could have what it takes to beat everyone in Central Illinois, unless maybe the Cyclones have something to say about that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, the Raiders have two really good running backs, Oliver Triplett, Noah Benz. They've rushed for almost 400 yards. Triplett had 3 TDs last week. Also ran a punt back for a touchdown, 75 yards.
You know, and I'm going to talk about Gavin Dolman. He is kind of their Swiss Army man of this offense. He had a really great Friday night showdown last year. If you folks at home don't remember, he is a guy that he can catch the ball, he can run the ball. He might even take some snaps at quarterback. He can do a little bit of everything. He is someone that the Sacred Heart Griffin Cyclones are going to have to keep an eye on where he is lining up.
Yeah, Dolman's got 5 touchdowns this season. He's ran 2 punt returns back for touchdowns, and that's 3 punt returns back for touchdowns. So watch that special teams of QND tonight. They're tough. Sammy?
Thanks, Paul. Adam, we'll check back in with you guys after the break to talk about a few other games. But first, as we always do with our game of the week, we have to look at our pair of players to watch, one on each side of this high-powered matchup. And for SHG, Coach Allison called this guy vitally important to both sides of the ball. And that guy is Mikey Gresh. The junior running back, fresh off a baseball state title, is doing damage on the ground. He can break off a long score or punch it in from close, a back who can do it all and runs with a lot of fight. Coach Allison emphasizing how important the run game is to this team, and to not only have success on the run, but also to match that QND physicality, Gresh will have to step up and set the tone. And on the other side, it's the quarterback, a junior, a first-year starter for QND, and through 3 weeks, Van Verlo, he's got the offense humming, firing on all cylinders, 155 points scored so far, but also showing the ability to do it with his arm and his legs. 3 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown last week against Southeast, but SHG, it's his first real defensive test so far this season. And coming up after the break, we'll take a look at a few other big contests around Central Illinois, including a massive, massive showdown over at Rochester between the Rockets and the Titans. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown Preview Show.
Now, welcome back in the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown pregame show. Our game of the week officially, it's been broken down. Quincy Notre Dame taking on Sacred Heart Griffin, but now we bring back Paul and Adam. We've got more work for them to do here in our pregame show, and it's not happening in Springfield, but it is happening very, very close by. It's a big game happening in another conference, or I should say the same conference, but the other side. Very early in the season, Glenwood and Rochester, 2 3-0 teams and 2 teams that have state title aspiration. Guys, it's tough to find something to separate these two sides. I'm torn. Who are you guys leaning towards here in this integral CSA East showdown?
Yeah, it's hard to lean toward Rochester or Glenwood. I think it's going to be a great game. On paper, it sure looks like it will be. I think it's going to come down to maybe a turnover. One play, I think, will determine the outcome of that game. That's my thought.
Okay, here's my stat bomb for you, Paul, and everybody at home.
All right.
The last time Rochester lost to a public school team at Rocket Stadium,
Yes.
October 12th, 2007 against Pontiac. So Rochester wasn't even in the Central State 8 at that point. They were in the Corn Belt Conference. I would have to lean to Rochester because they're coming off last year. I think Derek Leonard felt like they were embarrassed over at Chatham last year with that big score. But they have to play better defense than they did against Mount Zion. Colt Canadle will pick them apart.
If my math is correct. That's 18 years. 18 years ago, the
I
last
was
time
a
they lost.
spry chicken at that point.
Should be a great game. Two great coaches. Both teams are ranked. That will be an incredible game, I think, tonight, Sammy.
Now, the second game I want to take a look at, guys, over in the Sangamo, it's make-or-break time for both of these teams. Yes, it's week 4, it's early, but Riverton and New Berlin, they're in a tough conference, obviously, and they have a few tough games ahead and are currently sitting at 1-2. With how uncertain life can be there in the Sangamo, this could be a vital win for either one of these sides. Who do you guys think has the edge?
chances to win and to win big.
Yeah, well said. I don't know if one team has the edge, New Berlin, Riverton, but as you said, Sammy, this is a vital game for both of those teams tonight.
Yeah, if either one of those teams want to think about making the playoffs, it starts tonight. It's crazy to say that in week 4, but it definitely is. New Berlin coming off a victory last week. Riverton ran in the buzzsaws, the Williamsville Bullets, so let's see if they can bounce back. I think whoever wins will get a better play out of their quarterback, either Grady Hartlog for Riverton or Brady Cruz for New Berlin.
Both teams have improved. They've done better this season.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a grind-out game over there. That could be whoever turns the ball over the least maybe comes out with a victory in that one as well.
We'll keep an eye on the score in that one and some of the other games. So back to you, Sammy, from Ken Leonard Field.
Thanks, Paul and Adam. Now we are turning to the eastern side of the state. Let's check in with our Carson Gordy. We got 3 weeks down on the high school football schedule, and that has set up some pretty solid matchups over by you near Champaign. What stands out on the schedule to you, Carson?
Hey, Sammy, how's it going? We're still a few weeks away from a true playoff chase, but the top game in this region feels like either one of these teams can make the state championship this season. Big-time rivals meeting once again. Unity traveling to face St. Joseph Ogden.
They're number one. That's not just coming from me or the whole team. That's all the way back to when my dad played in '99. I mean, Unity was always been our rival.
Last time these two played, Unity, they shocked the Spartans in the second round of the playoffs, 35-7. The Spartans had their undefeated record and also dreams of a state championship shattered. And of course, that loss from last season still stinks.
For me, I actually have a poster in my locker of somebody's Facebook post after the game, and it just motivates me every day. You just know we don't like the Rockets, so every day we're striving to beat them.
St. Joe, they're really good again. 3-0 and averaging 43 points per game behind their do-it-all quarterback, Cody McKinney. And 4-star offensive lineman Cameron Wagner. Illinois, Penn State, Notre Dame, they all want him.
He was at the Notre Dame game last week, and I texted him right afterwards. I said, that was a great finish, and he texted me, he said, great game, coach, unbelievable.
But tonight is their toughest test. The Unity Rockets are 2-1 after a tough 34-27 loss against Bloomington Central Catholic. But I'm just telling you, they're still really good. Star wide receiver Trey Hogard on the team. And also Central Missouri quarterback commit Dane Eisenmenger. He's 6'4" and has a rocket for an arm. No pun intended. They're also scoring over 35 points per game. And here's some other games we're going to have the highlights for tonight. Taylorville looking to take down Muhammad Seymour, who is the king of the Apollo Conference. They haven't lost to a conference rival since COVID-19. And over in the Twin Cities is a historic rivalry. Champaign Central taking on Urbana. They've met well over 100 times. Both squads are 0-3 this year, but they've been razor close to some victories. Central's offense, they've shown life with star running back Zaire Aker. He's only a junior, but he had a really good Sports Center-esque 75-yard touchdown last week. And Urbana, they're looking for their first victory in 2,177 days. That was in the October of 2019. Finally, Champaign Centennial, they lost nearly 20 seniors last year, but they're looking good in the early part of 2025. At 2-1, they host Danville in a pivotal matchup. The Vikings are also 2-1 and coming off a decisive win over Normal West. I'm Carson Gordy. Thank you for watching. We got a lot of good games tonight. Back to you, Sammy.
Now, thanks, Carson. Don't forget, we'll have all the highlights from tonight's games coming up in our CEFCU Friday Night Showdown recap show. The recap show kicking off at 10:15 over on News Channel 20. And I'll be breaking down all the action from the gridiron with a little help from Carson. And again, that's tonight at 10:15 p.m. And after the break, we'll check in with the rest of our Friday Night Showdown team, including, of course, a weather update from our own Darren Leeds, and as well, something fun from our guy Spencer Davis. So stay exactly where you are. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown Preview Show.
And welcome into the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown Preview Show. We're going to be heading back out to Sacred Heart Griffin to check in with the rest of our Friday Night Showdown crew. And we're going to start with meteorologist Darren Leeds for a look at that football forecast. Darren, heard some rumblings we may finally be seeing some rain over the next few days. Tonight, will there be rain or will there not be rain? That is the question.
Yeah, and I've got the answer for you, Sammy. No rain for us here out at SHG Ken Leonard Field. It is absolutely beautiful. It was a little bit cloudy earlier on this evening, but skies have opened up and it is cooling off pretty nicely right now. I've got 80.7 degrees, so yes, we are seeing that temperature slowly begin to drop, but very comfortable out here. If you want to bring some long sleeves, if you want to keep it in short sleeves, just depends on what your comfort level is. But yes, we do not expect any kind of wet weather headed our direction tonight, but going into the weekend, going into next week, that's a different story because it does look like those rain chances begin to come back to Central Illinois, and we absolutely need it. But yes, it does look like we're going to be staying dry out here for this evening. Can't say the same for some of those football games on the eastern side of the state, but yes, here at SHG, things are picture perfect on our Friday evening. Reporting live, meteorologist Darren Leeds. Sammy, back to you.
Located on the
Thank you, Darren. That's great news, at least over here by Springfield. But taking a quick look now at the conference standings, the Central State 8 West, QD, Springfield High, and SHG winners in that opening week of conference play. Then sliding over to the East, even split again with just 1 week of action. Glenwood, Rochester, and MacArthur 1-0 to start the season, and then 3 weeks in over in the Sangamo Conference, Williamsville, Olympia, Amarillo, all 3-0. Athens, they're 2-1, and 4 teams tied at 1-2, including New Berlin, Porta, Plains, and Riverton. And of course, high school football, that brings excitement to the entire community, including those not in between the white lines. Our sideline reporter Spencer Davis is in Sacred Heart Griffin, or at Sacred Heart Griffin, with more. Spencer, I hear you're keeping us cool today.
Thanks, Sammy. I'm standing by here with Clayton, and Clayton operates the Snow Shack. And on a hot day like today, talk to me about what the fans feel like when they're feeling something cold.
Hot and sweaty out here on this turf. We got shaved ice that you can come get, cool you down. Also Dippin' Dots, the ice cream of the future. So come over and get some cold treats.
So in your experience, I understand you played a little bit of ball.
Yep.
When it was a hot day, what worked best for you on the sidelines? And maybe when you were a fan, what did you go for?
I could never get the snow cones while I was playing, but right after the game, I'd go right up and get one.
And then as a fan, if you're going to just a game yourself, are you going for popcorn? Are you going for soda? Are you going for Dippin' Dots?
Always Dippin' Dots.
Okay. And do you have a favorite moment of playing football that you remember?
My sophomore year of high school, I played on this field for the first time, and we brought home a victory. Go Rockets.
Well, Clayton, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for what you do in the community and bringing football to everyone. Sammy, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Spencer. I'm not so sure about football, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't ask my parents for Dippin' Dots at every baseball game I ever attended as a kid. Great stuff as always. Thank you. But now when we come back, we'll wrap up our Green Hyundai preview show before sending things back out, well, to Spencer, Paul, and Adam for the Friday Night Showdown Game of the Week.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown Preview Show.
And we were taking a look there over at Sacred Heart Griffin. One more time there as the national anthem played as the Cyclones, they're ready for their vital Central State 8 duel with Quincy Notre Dame. Again, a game that many people in the conference and the state will have their eyes on. Kickoff just a few minutes away, but that's it here for our Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show. Or sort of kidding. We'll be back next week with our CEFCU Friday Night Showdown Game of the Week. Again, it'll be week 5, and it'll be a TV game over at the new Spartan Field. After a season of playing on Saturdays and over at Memorial, the Southeast Spartans, they are back on home grass, and they are going to host Jacksonville. The Crimsons taking on Lanphier tonight after a tough loss there against SHG last week. The Spartans, a win over Lincoln in week 2, but battered in week 3 against Quincy Notre Dame. They take on Springfield High tomorrow afternoon. afternoon. And it's a big matchup on deck, SHG and QND. So we have to take a look at our staff picks for this one. Spencer and I, we're off to a slow start, admittedly, with our picks. We back New Berlin and Mount Zion. We go 0-2, but I'm standing behind Quincy Notre Dame. 10-point game is my prediction. It's in Springfield, but it'll be tough. But QND, they looked unstoppable here at the start, and these lopsided games make them tough to game plan for. Spencer, a similar tough predicting start, but he's with me, however, by a much bigger score. Spencer, he's going with a 20-point QND win. Carson, he's 2-0 so far and is finally agreeing with me. It's QND for Carson by 2 touchdowns, but he goes against the next 2 picks. And now just our broadcasting dynamic duo, Paul and Adam, they previous 2 weeks, they were right, and they're in lockstep again as they are backing the Cyclones. SHG, 4-point wins for both of them. Now, come to the end of the regular season, these two may have the exact same record on picks as they keep lining up on these selections. But that's going to do it here. And things off to our broadcast duo and, of course, Spencer. So take it away and enjoy the game.